Many people are turning to mindfulness and meditation as a way of relaxing and unwinding and tuning in. But there are so many different forms of meditation, and one form of meditation is actually tuning out. So we tend to want to hone in and go inward, but there are also ways where we can actually tune out. And I don't mean check out. I mean practice expanding our consciousness into the field around us. So our normal state of awareness can range from distractibility to intense focus. But the nature of most people's consciousness day to day is that it is contracted within the ego identity, within the sense of self. And while many of us have the ability to empathically find ourselves in the space of another, sensing into what they may or may not be feeling or thinking, but however you look at it, ego consciousness is contracted. It is the nature of the ego that it is self-absorbed and separate. Most of us have a distance, a sense of separation between who we are and everybody else. And I think this is why people love. Because in love, the boundaries feel like they have dissipated and sometimes even merged. And the sense of self can dissolve for a while. That sense of separate contractedness can unfold into this blissful feeling where not only have boundaries dissolved, but the sense of shared joy and pleasure in each other and one another allows a semi-euphoria. And this feeling can be so intoxicating that many people crave it long after it's gone. One pathway out of this contraction, this isolated feeling of being trapped inside one's own mind or ego identity of thoughts about self, that you actually practice this expansion as a form of mindfulness or meditation. And so I'm going to guide you through a process that invites you to do this, to experiment with how it feels, to loosen out your awareness and expand your consciousness out into the field around you. And by practicing this, it may just facilitate you to feel a little more at ease in general and a little less isolated within yourself and a little less contracted in your own mind and your own ego. So follow me through this process. What I'm going to invite you to do is, rather than focusing inward or on content of the mind, is rather to expand outward into the field and ultimately into the creative force, the love that is the creative force that is always around us and always present. So you might like to get comfortable now. Just take some deep breaths and invite yourself into a peaceful state, into being present with yourself, with my voice, with whatever may be around you. Maybe there's noise or maybe there's silence. And breathe into your belly so that your diaphragm, the great muscle that separates your organs from your lungs, can expand and invite the relaxation of the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system. So taking a couple of deep breaths with me now. Filling up the belly and letting go. Just trying that again. We may not be in time, but that's okay. Everyone has their own rhythm. Now I invite you to be gentle with this. There is nothing you need to do. There is nowhere you need to go. There is nothing that you can do right or wrong. This is a space of allowing, where we invite our consciousness, our awareness, to flex outward from the thoughts and the inward focused sensations and dialogue. And so, with your eyes open or closed, I invite you to imagine that you're wearing a woolly hat and it's encapsulating your skull. And you can sense it all around your head, to the back, to the sides, and up on the top of your head. And as soon as you have the idea of this woolly hat around your head, I invite you to sense it dissolving. But with the dissolving hat, as it radiates out from your skull, I invite you to allow your awareness to travel with it. And so now your awareness is expanding above, to the sides, and to the back of your head. As if now that space is twice as large, and as large as it gets to the side, to the back, and to the top. I invite your awareness to follow it further. And so now you can focus as if you could see or sense as far out to the sides of your peripheral vision as you can possibly be aware of. Sensing the room or the space that you're in as far out to the sides and as far out to the back of you and as far out above you. Almost as if your consciousness could fill the entire room, or a space as large as the room around you. And if you cannot reach this far, that is perfectly good. You're just expanding, like you're stretching your consciousness as far out as it could possibly go, but without forcing. So there is an ease now to your awareness, as if it's floating, yet it's very clear. And I invite you to abide in that expanded yet relaxed state of being. And even if thoughts come, you gently return your awareness and your focus of your consciousness to the sides and the back and the top of your head and the space around you. Now I want you to sense how delicate this may be. How gentle it is to have your consciousness open and expanded. And as you tune into this gentle, wide awake, expanded spaciousness, I invite you to sense the gentle ease of the very fine light love that is always around us. It's a very light sense. And I invite you to rest in that space of expansion into the creative field that is the divine force of love that is always around us. And if you choose, you could stay here and allow yourself the bliss of this experience. Or you could return back to yourself and see how different you may feel. A little looser, a little more relaxed, a little less condensed. I hope you have enjoyed this short journey into expanded meditation and mindfulness. May you be able to do this as often as you desire. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for allowing yourself to have a new experience. Namaste.